What's good, y'all? Full ass speaks back. Another video, man. Uh, Listen, man. I've been meaning to get this out earlier, a video, a live, something. But we're gonna keep it 100. Your boy been a little bit under the weather lately. Um, yeah, man. And today I just had to do a whole lot of running around. Family even got caught up with me. You know how you got family that's trying to move, trying to do different things, and they ask you, "Yo, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that?" I had to help somebody move today, boy. It was crazy. I was supposed to go live, Eagles content, and the W content. Ended up just only being able to do this. Simply ball dropping. What's happening, bro? What's happening, man? I saw you earlier. You had a good show. Had a good show as always, man. Jared, my man, Jared, always coming through. I'm gonna give it a few minutes, man. See who else can come through real quick before we get started. We ain't gonna take too long, though. This ain't even gonna take a lot of time. I just got to get these picks out here, you know. So matter of fact, you know what? We get right to it. Whoever missed this beginning, they can just watch the replay or ask questions, and I'll repeat stuff. I don't have a problem doing that. All right. So the first game we got coming up tomorrow night looks like everything is starting at 10 a.m. and that is going to be the Atlanta Dream against the New York Liberty. Uh, Actually, of the four matchups, I think this is the one that is going to be the most straightforward. I don't know that Atlanta wins a game at all in this matchup. I think they do make it tough. Atlanta does have some talent. I like the point guard Jordan Canada. I definitely like Alicia Gray. I like Ryan Howard a lot. You know, so I think they have some fight. Tina Charles, legend. I definitely see where they can make it a fight. I can see each game being somewhat competitive. However, when it's all said and done, I just believe New York Liberty is going to be too much. You're talking about a team that has probably been one of, if not the most consistent teams all season. You know, point guard play, whether it's what is it, Van Loo or Sabrina Ionescu, if she's running the two or the one, whichever one she could do. Sabrina is what I call really the classic combo guard. Um, Stewie will be the best player, of course, in the whole series. I tend to lean towards the team that has the best player. Then you talk about Jonquil Jones, you talk about Laney Hamilton. Laney Hamilton really has become one of my favorite players in the whole W. You talking about a two-way player who is very much underrated on that team, but I think her being there is very pivotal. And you talk about how deep the Liberty is with those players coming off the bench. I really just don't see um, much that Atlanta will do. I think this will probably be the one series. Well, I think there's two series that are going to go just a straight sweep. I think this is one of them. Atlanta, though I like them, I like the team, like the players, um, and Alicia Gray is a sweetheart. I mean, how can you not like Alicia Gray, right? Um, New York is gonna beat them outright, definitely tomorrow, and then for the series, I really can't see that happening any other way. I think that'll be pretty straightforward. The next game we're going to talk about here: Phoenix Sun versus Minnesota Lynx. Minnesota Lynx, man, in my opinion, wire to wire this year, uh, have been the best team. Now, one can make an argument for New York Liberty record wise, but I'm talking about the quality of basketball. When you talk about the Liberty, Liberty have been consistent. They have had, either the best record or the second best record. But when you look at them, they've had certain um, little, what do you call that? They've had games that were like lulls, is the word I'm looking for. Like I remember early on in the season, they lost to the Chicago Sky, for example. I mean, Chicago Sky being my favorite team, it's not the worst thing in the world, but they, you know what I mean. New York Liberty, you think they shouldn't have lost to Chicago Sky, especially back, early on before the Chicago Sky got anything going or anything rolling. Then they had that game where they lose to the Fever, right before the break. And then other times, sometimes New York just look like they're disinterested and so on. So that's why I put Minnesota ahead. And the Minnesota, have been wire to wire great, especially when Nafisa Collier was there. There was that little, time when she wasn't there where you saw some vulnerability, but that's to be expected. Nafisa Collier, you're talking about probably, one of the three best players, in the whole entire league. So that's the only lull I ever saw with Minnesota. Other than that, you can pretty much count on them to be consistent, to be excellent on both sides of the floor. Best defensive rating in the league, one of the best offensive ratings in the league. I don't see how Minnesota does not beat Phoenix. Now, Phoenix is a team I root for my heart. Why? They have Khalid Copper. Khalid Copper is from right over there. Literally, I go over there, open that door, jump on the bus, jump on one bus. Khalid Copper's from right over there. So, of course, I'm a homer, and naturally. So, I root for Khalid Copper. I want to see her do well. I want to see her go off. Would like to see her come back to the Chicago Sky at some point. Um, but I don't think she'll be enough. Diana Taurasi, I think, you talking about what year 22 it is. She still put up decent numbers. I believe over 15 points this year. So, I mean, you can't consider her not a threat. But then she's going up against what I think is the best point guard in the league right now. Was that Courtney Williams? I believe her name is before in the Lynx. I've seen her play defense. I've seen her play offense. She's just, I just don't see it. Then they got uh, oh my goodness, you got Nafisa, you got her. Then you got let me pull these names up here. I'm tripping up here. Um, I'm up here forgetting names. It is late. All right, so let's see. I'm up here, man. I am up here tripping. But the Lynx have a number of players that I really like, man. Uh, Forgive me, y'all, for not having all my stuff in front of me. Um, I am bugging here. Uh, Brianna, one second, y'all. One second. Don't kill me. I'm great with faces and all that. Names. Yeah. Alana Smith. I like her. Comes in with the three. She's shooting like 43% from the field. From the three last time I checked, she's like losing her mind. Um, they also, Courtney Williams, who I just mentioned. Kayla McBride. That's the one I was looking for. Kayla McBride is she is nice. She is nice. Um, but that's the one, Alana Smith and Bridget Carlton. But Alana Smith, like a lot of times you sleep on her, and she'll be killing you. She'll be killing you from beyond the arc. Like Minnesota, and I believe they're the best coach team in the league. I know some people might point to Hammond. I'm also like Seattle's coach, but when you talk about, I think just the to me the best coach is Reeves. She um, she has that team playing, man, on both ends of the floor consistently, unlike any other team I've seen all year. So I got I don't see I can't say Phoenix can't win one game. I don't see it though. I kind of see Minnesota just winning two, and that's it. But like when you got a player like Khalid Copper, it's possible Khalid can get you one. So maybe that happens. I don't see how Minnesota loses to the Phoenix Mercury. Mercury, they have a lot of talent, but they're inconsistent. And inconsistent teams, you know, I'm just not picking them over teams like Minnesota. All right, the next game I'm going to talk about here is um, the Seattle versus the Aces. All right, Seattle Storm. This is going to be, I think, probably the most entertaining game. I think these are players I love to watch. I can't, of course, express enough how much I love to watch Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson is just probably the greatest women's player I've seen since maybe Amaya Moore. Um, You got you got a player that I love very much, Jackie Young. Come on, man. Two-way players, very sound offensively, threat both ends. Um, Probably the best sound two-way player, in the league, in my opinion, especially when you're talking about, from the guard position, the two guard position. And she's really a combo because she played, point guard for a good part of the season when Chelsea Gray was out. Did a good job. I think she's still leading the Aces in assists, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and then you got Kelsey Plum. I tell y'all, that's my heart right there, Kelsey Plum. I love watching Kelsey Plum play. I like her attitude, her mentality. Before I even got into watching the W, I always liked Kelsey Plum just when she made appearances on, whether it's commercials, whether it's she was on what's that stupid show on Nick Cannon's show, Wildin' Out. She was on there. That's one of my favorite, and she's definitely one of my favorite players to watch. Um, they just got too much. You got the Tiffany Hayes coming off the bench. I really like her game. Um, and then when you talk about Seattle, that's a team loaded with talent, man. Some of my favorite players are on Seattle. But Seattle is, as I've said all season, I think the Seattle Storm are one of those teams that's a year away. That's assuming they're able to keep everyone, that they have right now. It's like the team is well built. They're not missing anything talent wise. When you're talking about Jewel Lloyd, when you're talking about Agumake, one of the best bigs. I know she's getting a little older now, but she still has a lot of game. Mega Board. It's my favorite center in the league. You're talking about athletic hustlers who play defense. Who can also put the ball in the hole as well. You're talking about Horston, if I'm getting the name right. The Horston, man, I love the way she plays. Long, linky defender, the defensive player, who can score as well. Like when you look at Seattle's roster, it's like they have as much talent as anybody, if not more than everybody. But it's about it all coming together. Skyler, my favorite point guard in the W. No, I'm no longer just going to say she's the best, but she's my favorite point guard, like quintessential point guard that I want to. The way I like a point guard to play, and to be a little crazy. I know some people talk about how crazy she is. I like my point guard to be a little crazy, you know. Um, Seattle, but I just think they're a year away, assuming they keep everybody. It's one of those things where you have to. I don't think they have the continuity that's needed to deal with a team like the Aces. You're talking about a team that is looking to three-peat, that has already won at the highest level, that know how to turn it up, turn it on whenever necessary. I think it will be very entertaining. I think it will go 3 games. I don't think it'll be a sweep. I think that Seattle, though they are a little, they're not as cohesive a team as the Aces. I just think they just have the type of talent that's going to get them at least one. And then there's going to be another game that they lose that they almost won. I think it's going to be one of those types of series. And, I think that's going to be the most entertaining series out of all of them. Kinda. Because the next one I'm going to talk about, which I'm going to talk about last, but not necessarily least, is that damn Indiana Fever versus the Connecticut Sun. Ah, what is going to happen with the Connecticut Fever versus the Indiana Sun? Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun. Look at me, I'm twisting it all up. Mm, 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 mm. Listen, the Fever come out there. Kelsey Mitchell doing her thing. Leah Boston doing her thing. Alyssa Smith doing her thing. Kaden Clark doing her thing. And I think the Fever will get their ass kicked. Now, I know a lot of people are seeing this different. A lot of people I respect are seeing this differently. I got the Fever just losing two straight games to the Connecticut Sun. Now, listen, I get it. The Connecticut Sun used to dominate the Indiana Fever in the beginning of the season. The Fever later managed to win a game against the Connecticut Sun. But that game that they won against Connecticut late in the season was fugazi to me. It was like, yeah, they won it, but it was, you know, it wasn't done in a way to me that shows that they can really beat Connecticut for real, for real. I know a lot of people think they can. I know a lot of people are looking at the way they played in the second half, not the second half, but post Olympic break, and they feel like that the Indiana Fever have arrived. I say I don't really buy it, only because the Connecticut Sun are a team that have been competitive, almost winning, almost close to winning a title over the last 3 to 4 years. They came into the season off and running. For a number of weeks, they were like in the first spot. They had the best record, second best record. They were always a top team all year. And that continuity matters to me. The Indiana Fever were a team searching for their identity. Excuse me, y'all. Like I said, something going on around here, and it got me. While the Indiana Fever pretty much were searching for their identity. Not necessarily from a winning culture. A lot of turmoil, a lot of nonsense that came about as a result of, the new rookie that they have and all of these different things. And I believe who you really are comes out in the playoffs. And I believe that it's going to rear its ugly head. That it's going to rear its ugly head who they really are. Now, many people who believe the Fever are going to win, they say, well, the Connecticut Sun, sometimes they have trouble scoring. Well, yeah, when they're playing the Lynx. Yeah, when they're playing New York. Yeah, when they're playing Seattle. Yeah, when they're playing the Aces. You know what's in common with all those teams I just mentioned? Those teams play defense. When you're talking about the Indiana Fever, you're talking about the team with by far the worst defense out of all the teams in the playoffs. The Fever have the worst defense. The Connecticut Sun will be able to score on the Fever. That's the difference. So now I'm interested to seeing how the defensive matchups go. DJ Carrington, of course, my favorite player in the whole entire W. Who will they put her on? Are they going to match her up with Caitlin Clark, or are they going to put her on Kelsey Mitchell? That last game that they won, what people don't admit is the majority of the time she was actually on Mitchell and not on Clark, which is probably smart. Now, putting her on Clark is smart from the standpoint that if you disrupt Clark and you frustrate Clark, that can help you. Clark you can get to her here. That's the thing. You can rattle her here. That's why, you might want to put these nails on her. But I think it's important that you have a plan for Kelsey Mitchell, because when Kelsey Mitchell goes off, it's a completely different story. It's a completely different story. It's very difficult to deal with that team when she's going off, right? Because you can kind of disrupt Caitlin's flow. You kind of can. All right. We got some comments here. Let me start dealing with some of the comments before I continue back. Simply Ball Dropping came through. Appreciate you coming through, bro. Fever drew the Sun for land. I hate that matchup for them. I don't know why. The Sun is not going to have a problem with the Fever. Trust me. Sabrina better not overlook the dream. They have more talent than many think. Yeah, talent, but not enough. Sabrina will be playing point guard. I know you're happy about that. I agree about the Lynx. Phoenix too old, I think. Not enough guns for the Lynx. Yeah, you're probably right, man. I like to see Kylie Copper do it. The Lynx are like a machine. Atlanta, they dangerous. Yeah, but they're not beating New York, I don't think. They got a super girl off the Lakes with threes. You talking about Atlanta Smith? She all business. Tarasi is a vet I think can grind out a tough one with the talent around her. You mean one win? You mean? Because maybe Phoenix can win one. Yeah, but I don't know. You know, brother Gad, Sue Flat, Izzy Magabor is out on concussion protocol. She's the only one that can guard Asia in the paint. Aces will rule. Damn. Yeah, I do remember hearing about that. Yeah. I thought she might be back for this though. How long are they going to be out? Would you be surprised if I told you that Angel Reese held her to her worst game of the year? $222 games experience and 19 for the Fever. You talking about the Sun? You mean the current roster they have played 222 games? Is that what you mean? Excuse me, man. Like I told you, I'm something going on with me, man. Jared says it's going to depend on if CC has learned from the previous encounters with the Sun. If she's still turning the damn ball over in this series, it's an easy sweep. If she improves the game as possible. I think the Sun are a horrible matchup for the Fever. I know many people think, because the Fever like run up and down the field, do all this damn transition, but we don't understand. The Sun had one of the best transition defensive. They one of the best transition defensive teams in the league. So you take away the Fever's transition game, what do you have? If Caitlin isn't able to run up and down the field and catch cutters and all of that type of stuff, what do you have? You force her to play half court ball. If she can win that, I'll be impressed. But you take away her transition. Fever played the Sun close both games in Indiana. They only lost by 4 early in the season when they were still struggling. Let me look that up. Yeah, and that seems to go against what I remember. I remember them just getting dominated. Right? That's what I remember. Let's look that up. Yeah, I don't see the Fever competing with the Sun at all. Honestly, they won that one game, but it was very controversial and it was nutty. There was one game where the Sun straight blew the Fever off the floor, where Caitlin quit. Let's see. Let's look that up. And the Fever versus Connecticut Sun. Let's look at this here. But I could be wrong here. I watched them all. But I don't remember all these competitive games at all, to be honest with you. All right. But people always think just because a team isn't a great scoring team, they're going to lose. So what? They're a great defensive team. Yeah, so all right, so the first time the Fever and Sun played, they played on Tuesday, May 14th, right? So that was the first time they played this year. It was 92-71. So you're talking about 21-point lead. Then you're talking about the next game they played was on May 20th. That's where the Sun won by 4, 88-84. And then the third game they played, the Sun beat them 89-72. And then it was this last game where the Fever were able to win by 4 points. No, so you had 2 blowouts. Then you had the one game that was won by 4. But even in that game, I remember they dominated. Yeah, Fever haven't played the Sun close. We talk about both games in Indiana. They only lost by 4 early in the season. No, they were blown out. Um, you know that's the matchup. They might be a toss up, but I'm hoping the Sun can knock them out. People really believe Fever can beat the Sun, huh? Huh. I guess I'm alone on this. I don't see it. I don't see what people are seeing in the Fever. If Sun don't win both games, Fever will win at home. Okay. So y'all like the Fever, huh? And if Boston isn't in foul trouble, Sun have no answer. Uh, okay, if you think so. I think the Suns center is just fine. Who's the center? Jones. She's fine. I don't see how these don't have no answer for Boston. I don't see it. I guess I don't see it that way. Yeah. Clark history is a gamer in the playoffs her entire career. Game what playoffs? Is her history as a gamer in the playoffs? What playoffs? I thought she was a rookie, right? Game winners. Just didn't have the all stars to support her. Yeah, okay. You talking about college? Anyway, yeah, sure. I mean, we'll see. No, she wasn't, but I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Said, I think Boston has the dominating list of Thomas. Well, I mean, uh, the Suns. I told you I'm horrible with these names right now, but the Sun have a center. I'm not talking about Lissa Thomas. Lissa Thomas is the power forward. The Sun, yeah, their center Jones is a problem as well. The whole point of stopping Clark isn't just to stop Clark; it is to stop Boston. I mean, what do you mean from getting her the ball in her sweet spots when she's real close to the rim? Is that what you mean? And swoops to the basket from Smith. Mitchell will always get her points. The Clark Boston pick and roll is Fever's best offense. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. And Mitchell will be the game changer she's on. If you give Clark space, she will feed Boston, and Connecticut will struggle. I just don't see it the way y'all seeing it, man. I just don't see it. Jared Thomas Clark doesn't need to dominate Carrington. She didn't last time, and Fever still won. Clark dominating Carrington. The whole thought of that is funny. Unless they're going to let her elbow Carrington in the damn stomach all game, which she'll probably try to do. So it depends on whether they let her use that damn elbow. To be honest with you, she damn sure ain't crossing Carrington up. She ain't doing nothing like that. But if they run the pick and rolls well, that's fine. Then they have a chance. But the Carrington knows how to run up. She knows how to run past them damn pick and rolls, them screens. She's excellent at that, getting up under them, over them, all of that. What does the Fever need to be better next season? Hmm. The Fever, as far as like their roster, in my opinion, is really good. If they were to keep the roster the way it is, I think they would still be relative pretty good next year. I just think it's still a continuity thing. I know a lot of people think they have all this continuity now because they started winning, but it's still like we already knew for real. Let's just keep it real. We already knew from the beginning of the season that their schedule was much more loaded at the beginning of the year, and that it would tail off in the end of the year. But everybody forgot that though. Now it's just whatever. Um, I mean, I think they could use a three better. They could upgrade from Hull, though there's a chance Hull could get better, I guess. But Hull, I think ideally what you want your three to be a better ball handler than Hull. Um, Defense, Hull is decent defensive player. Probably the best perimeter defender they have. Um, they could use like another scorer from the guard position off the bench. I think so that Caitlin doesn't have to play 40 damn minutes or 39 or whatever she's doing. I don't think that's sustainable or smart. Um, I just think their players just need to get a little older. Because you're talking about Leah Boston, still just a second-year player. Um, and they damn sure need to keep Kelsey Mitchell. Well, you better not let her go. Better not do that, because that would not be an easy one to replace. Excuse me, y'all. The Fever are arguably the fastest team in the W. What do you mean, fastest? You mean their pace that they play at? Because they're not the fastest team. But you mean their pace? They're up there, but the Aces have the fastest pace. But the Fever like to play fast, which is why the Fever never beat the Aces, because you can't outpace the Aces, not with the talent that they had. But the Sun need to slow the pace down. I mean, the Sun will slow the pace down. You know, they will. That's just the way they play. And then in the Fever going to automatically slow down, because other than that, they'll turn the ball over 20 times if they try to play that pace. Philadelphia, you hear that nonsense? But um, I know. A lot of people see it as a Fever because it's so different from the Sun that they're a bad matchup. I think it's the other way around. I really think the Sun are a nightmare for the Fever. But then again, I tend to lean towards defense than offense. Give me a defensive team over an offensive team any day of the week if I got to choose between one or the other. Ideally, you want a team that does both. Um, and I think Mabry will help a lot more than she did if she had got the heart. Hopefully, there's got to be something in Mabry that, you know, she's from this area over here where I'm at. The tri-state area, Philadelphia, New Jersey. She's from this area. She's got to have some of that in her. You know what I mean? She got to have some of that in her. Sun dominated the Fever on their home court, not in Indiana. Yeah, but most of the games are going to be in Connecticut, right? So, I mean, that's the way it works. Teams should typically play better at home, unless you're Chicago Sky. Chicago Sky play better on the road than at home. Weird team. I think Minnesota going to do it. They got NC. They good. Not Peter Collier. They good. It'll be them the Aces. So you got the Sun beating. So you got Minnesota beating the Aces. HW. I mean, I see. I didn't even want to go on to what will happen afterwards, but if it did come down to the Sun and the Aces, the Aces and the Lynx, I wouldn't be shocked if the Lynx beat them. I mean, the Lynx have been the most consistent team on both sides of the floor all year. I just think the Aces, man, are a team that they're no longer like enthralled, or they're not motivated in the regular season. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it happens. They've been there with the regular season and then they've won. They've been there again with the regular season and then they won. So now it's like, let's just get through this shit. That's their mentality. Let's just get through this shit so we can get to the playoffs. And when I looked at the way the Aces just played over their last 8 to 9 games, it's like they're ramping up. They're ramping up. And I ain't betting against them. I'm not betting against them. But at the same time, it wouldn't shock me if Minnesota beat them because of their coaching, their consistency, and Nafisa Collier is a beast, and their bench is serious. Their shooting is serious. It's just the best player is Asia, man. That's the thing. They got Asia, you don't. If you look up the stats, you will see that Jones has struggled against the Fever and Boston has dominated her defensively. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, see, I'd rather look at the game. The stats. Like, I don't remember that. You know what I mean? I don't remember any type of like Boston dominating the Connecticut. But I could be wrong. I got to go back to look at those, watch the games to kind of really say that. Stats, I don't do that because maybe they weren't feeding the ball to Jones. It could be a number of things. But I will say this: if Aaliyah Boston did outplay her, Well, it's a Leah Boston. Leah Boston is good. That wouldn't shock me, but I got to go back and look at it. I don't remember that. I just kind of remember a lot of the Sun just whooping the Fever's ass, to be honest with you. HW says the Fever getting their asses kicked. That guard for Phoenix with the long hair, defensive player of the year. The guard for Phoenix with the long hair. You talking about Copper? Copper wouldn't be defensive player of the year. Unless you mean Connecticut, then you're talking about Dejanay. Dejanay probably won't get defensive player of the year yet. She will at some point, though. Your comment doesn't make sense. Clark is a rookie, and this is their first playoffs, really. Yeah. Y'all are too focused on character locking up Clark. Clark had a bad game against the Sun last time, and Fever still won. Yeah, but did you really watch the end of that game? It was controversial. It was not a sustainable way. Like, Clark having a bad game against the Sun, is that a sustainable way to beat the Sun, really? I mean, it can happen on any given night, but is that sustainable? Fever will stop themselves. Well, turn the damn ball over? Probably. I think the Connecticut Sun will beat the Indiana Fever. It will be close, but it's Kelsey Mitchell they need to worry about. Agreed. Totally agreed. The only way the Fever win this series, Lexi Hull have to make 3 to 5 threes a game because the Sun is going to blitz CC. Lexi is going to be wide open all series long. See, I do agree that Lexi Hall has to have a good series. But I don't think they're going to blitz CC. I don't think so. I don't think that's the way the Sun play. I don't think the Sun feel they have to do that in order to stop Caitlin Clark. I don't think so. I don't see it. Maybe they'll blitz at times here and there, but it's not going to be a constant thing. I can see the 94 feet, Carrington up on her coming back. I can see that. But all this blitzing, maybe, but I don't see. We'll see. We'll know. We'll see. But it looks like I don't know if I'll be catching this game tomorrow. I think Eagles, if it's the same time as the Eagles game, I will not be catching that. I had to catch that on the replay. Yeah, I ain't watching no damn Sun over the Eagles. Or no, much I love Carrington. She don't come before my Eagles. Let me see. I think that may be game. What time is that game? It's a 3:00 game. Okay, so the Eagles will be finishing up. So I'll be tuning in probably around after halftime. Clark keep using the forearm to beat Carrington and the other players. Just score, which is illegal, and should have been called for charging, but refs keep letting her get away with it. Unfortunately, I think they realize she can't compete at this level consistently without it. So that's why they're going to let her do it. And I hate to say that. It's not even a hater. It's just really, if you look at her game, what is she going to cross Carrington up? What is she going to back her down? Like, really, what is she going to do to get past her when she has to? She has to push her. It is what it is. Until she develops more craftiness or something, I think that's just the way Caitlin Clark has to play. Hopefully, they force her to get better. It's like, I don't want to see her get away with that. I want to see her get better as a player, Because what's going to happen is I'm going to be the guy that's going to always bring it up. And I'm going to say you're not as good as players that don't have to do that. And then, But I'm not impressed with pushing somebody and then making a three and then everybody going crazy. That I just be sitting there rolling my eyes. Like, these niggas crazy. At PM Channel, if you listen to what Boston said, the pedigree from college ball that is on the team is used to play off March Madness and Final Fours. This ain't much different than they are used to crowds. Yeah, it's different. I can't rock with that idea that the Final Four, March Madness is the same as the playoffs and the pros, right? When you're in the Final Four, March Madness, you're not playing against the best of the best. Half of those players you're going against aren't even going to make it to the league. They're not good enough. So you can cook all those little players that, never make the league. Here is higher level of competition, better coaching, and it's just different. You know, it's just different. But we'll see. We will see. One concern I do have for the Sun is the pace in their offensive struggles. So if they can't see, I don't believe in offensive struggle. I don't believe in that. I believe in defensive pressure causing offensive struggle. I don't believe they're just struggling on offense just because I don't know. I just can't do it. No. And the thing is, the Fever are the worst defensive team in the whole playoffs. So the Sun will be able to score on the Fever, right? Because the Fever just, unless they just have some aberration and all of a sudden learn how to play defense tomorrow, I don't think they'll have offensive struggles. Their offensive struggles, when we see those are happening when they play the Lynx. Those offensive struggles are happening when they play the Aces. I've seen the Aces make the Sun look completely inept, but the Fever can't make the Sun look the way the Aces make them look. If they can't control the pace, they could lose the series. Not really, because I'm telling you, the Sun have the best transition defense in the league. In Fever want to play transition ball. So I'm telling you, I can't express to you how much I love this matchup. I really do. Like, I love it for the Sun. I think it's perfect. They play right into their hands. Jonathan, why do you only see one way of Cece pushing off? She gets hold more than any other player in the WNBA. Oh God. Why would she get held? All right, Israel. Seriously, why would she get held more than players that are more athletic and faster? Do you really understand what you're saying? Listen, you have a player. Let's just be logical here. All right. You have a player that's a good player, without a doubt, very smart player, very IQ player. Caitlin Clark, we don't deny that. But Caitlin Clark has not shown that she can consistently get past defenders without pushing off, right? Why would you as a defender have to hold a player that can't get past you without pushing off? It doesn't make sense. Why would you be holding her? Like, that's the what boy. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you're gonna hold someone that's too fast for you, right? You're not gonna hold someone that's has to push you to get away from you. Did you see what Plum was doing to Mitchell? It's illegal to bear hug and hang on the offensive player. Something got to give. Bear hug and hang on the offensive player. When was this? A team with a number one defense that has a decent offense will be enough for a championship. You want to lay on the player with the ball, you're going to get hit in the chops. At least that's what I'd be doing. I'd call a timeout every play and gather the refs in a circle until we were out of timeouts. I don't know. I'm trying to see what some of y'all are seeing. Y'all think Clark is held so much and grabbed and laid on. I don't see all of that. Am I blind? Like, really? Am I just completely blind? I just don't see all this stuff. Johnny, I agree about the fouls, but I think the refs will make those calls during playoffs, but maybe not because they want her to go all the way. See, even the thing with the refs, I know there's some people, that believes that, the WNBA want to push the Fever through, so the refs will be on some BS. They won't allow the Sun to play defense and so on. Listen, I don't rule those types of things out, right? But when I make a prediction, I don't make a prediction bearing that in mind. I can't make a prediction saying, well, the refs are going to push them through. My prediction has to be based on the players, their skill sets, the teams, how the team has played this year, the matchups. You know, those are the things I got to make a prediction based on. I can't go based on refs might want Fever to go all the way to sell more tickets and all that, though I don't rule it out. And even then, I think the refs can only do but so much. You still got to make your shots. You still got to execute. You know, it's like the refs can only do but so much. But if the game's close, game's tight, we at the end, and the refs are being one-sided in their calls, then we know. Then we know. But the Fever have to do enough to keep it close to where where the refs are even in position to help them. And I don't know that's what will happen. I do believe the Suns are going to beat the Fevers because of experience. Young teams don't win in playoffs. I'm hoping I'm wrong though. Yeah, I agree. I think it'll come down to the experience as well. They'll have the poise, they'll have the experience, they know exactly what to do. In the Fever, it'll be better for them next season. To go through, this. Yeah, she did that also against the Sky to help Asia get that easy winning layup. Yeah, well, you talking about what Plum? Well, listen, back in 1996, back in 1997, the first time the Utah Jazz made it to the finals to beat to face the Chicago Bulls. They had to first get past the Houston Rockets. If anyone remembers those years, it took forever for the Utah Jazz to get past the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets were constantly in their way in the mid '90s. It came down to it was either Game 6 or Game 7, but it was an elimination game. This is when the Houston Rockets had Barkley. They had Barkley and Olajuwon and Drexler, right? And Karl Malone literally held Clyde Drexler because they were coming out of timeout. And the play was to go to John Stockton for a wide open three. And Karl Malone literally held Clyde Drexler, preventing him to get to John Stockton. And then Barkley got there too late. Stockton hits the three. The game ends 103-100. I remember this joke vividly. Right? So I know what you mean, is that sort of thing. Yeah, what happens is those players, what they'll do is they'll put that official in that type of a situation. I dare you to call this. This is literally what Karl Malone did. He's like, look, we're gonna live or die with this, right? And those types of things do happen. There's no doubt about it. Connecticut has always come up short in the playoffs. They have a reputation of being chokers. Okay, you could probably speak more to that than I can. The thing about the Sun game, the refs don't make the illegal calls on Caitlin. If they continue to do that, that's why it may be a toss-up. We'll see. If they do that, then, hey, shame on them if they do that. That's how they're going to operate. Never underestimate the heart of a two-time WNBA champions with the reigning MVP, A'ja Wilson. A'ja plays like a champion every game. She brings the fight in the town. I love Minnesota and Nafisa. Agree with all of that. Yep. Yes, they do. Bro, thinking about the Phoenix Suns. did I say Phoenix Suns? Yeah, I probably did. Hey, man, I've been watching the NBA for over 30 years. The W. I did watch. I watched the W his first 3 years when the Houston Comets were there. I watched that, and I watched a little bit of. It was times I watched playoffs. Maya Moore, Candace Parker came. Simone Augustus, I believe her name is another one. But I never consistently, watched the W since the beginning until now. So yeah, I do. Still, a lot of my point of references are still men and NBA. So when I make comps, it's usually men because I haven't watched enough women to give comps for them. Lynx will win this championship. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I'm just not betting against the Aces, but you know, Daisy hand checked is also illegal. The refs hardly call it. Oh, Henry hand checking is also illegal in the league. Oh, Daisy, hand checking is also illegal in the league. Refs hardly call it. Let's get serious with these questions. Do you think Clark will be able to take the Phillies play-by-play announcer job from Tom McCarthy? Crazy. If she wanted it, she could have it. I think you're right. Lynx all the way, man. That stinks too. Only 3 likes. Yeah, get them likes up, y'all. Come on now. Come on now. No reason for the Sun to blitz Clark. Just play her straight up with DJ and shut off the pick and roll. Harder said than done. Facts. I am good as long as the fever gets sent home early. Oh, man. Brother Gay, yes, I know these refs have been all over the place. That's why it's hard to call the winner of that game. Remember, they want Clark to be playing 24/7, so I don't know. I just hope they call it fair. Well, shame on them. Shame on them if they don't. Shame on them if they don't. I'm concerned that if Caitlin keep doing that and constantly pushing it and hitting DJ in her stomach a lot, she's going to snap to the point that it may physically punch Caitlin in her mouth. Hope not. But DJ clearly has a couple screws loose, so I don't know. I don't see her doing that in Indiana though. If she was going to do that, it would probably be in Connecticut. She ain't doing no punching in Indiana. Them crazy behind crackers out there. Daisy Henry. I don't have a problem if they're going to call push-offs, but you have to call hand checking too to make it fair. Yeah, you're right. Why she get held? The same reason she gets double teamed and blitzed more than any player in the league history. She gets double teamed and blitzed because she turns the ball over. Not because she's unstoppable. Okay, she gets double teamed and blitzed because she turns the ball over. If I was playing against Caitlin Clark, I would try to get her to turn the ball over. So I would double team and blitz her. Now, if you think she's that unstoppable, can you explain to me why? Why do you think she's that unstoppable? What did she do that's so? Ooh, God, can't stop. Is it her fadeaway jumper that Caitlin has? Is it Caitlin's up and under move? Is it her her pivot? What move does she have that makes her someone that you have to double? Just explain to me. Break it down to me. What Caitlin does that causes teams to double her more than anyone in history. That's what I'm just trying to figure out. Is it because of step back 3? So you got double her? You got double somebody because they got a step back 3? Is it because of her dominant first step? She's so fast that she's like lightning that you can't stick her? That's why you got double her? No, they double her because she turns the ball over. They're trying to force turnovers. And 94 feel because okay. No, just explain to me. Just break down because I don't like talking like this. I need specifics. What is it in Caitlin Clark's game that's so dominant that you got to double her? Because normally, like my understanding, when you double a player because like they're phenomenal scorers, right? Kobe Bryant, fade away jump shots, Allen Iverson, like Enrique, I can see. I can see, yeah, double her. Other than that, you can't stop her. Why do you think Caitlin Clark? What is it about Caitlin Clark's game that would make you have to double her? I'm talking about her one-on-one game. I'm looking for a sweep. Fever can't keep up with the Sun. They can't keep up with the Sun. Oh, okay. Fever can't keep up with the Sun. Because I watch every game, she plays off ball too. She has the fastest trigger in the game. I saw the Aces game 3 times. Jackie Young fouled her 30 times that game and only called 3 times. So Jackie Young fouled her 30 times and they only called it 3 times. Yeah, okay. Daisy Henry, they do want to help her go all the way, just like they did for her last year with Iowa. I mean, shame on the refs if that's what they're going to do. Shame on them because everybody's watching. Nobody's stupid, so we'll see what you're doing. So Jackie fought her 30 times. That's the best excuse. Yeah, sad, man. Real sad. Phelan, you won't be surprised by this, but there are some that have been trolling, mocking, and laughing that the Sky missed the playoffs. Um, Sky did what I thought they would do once Angel Reese went out. You know, all it is shown is that it's what we've been saying, that she's the best player on the team. The best player ain't always the fanciest one with the most points and all of that. No, it's the most impactful player when they're on the floor. They can't win anything, can't beat anybody without Angel Reese on the floor. And I think we can we can close that case. I think that's been proven right now. I don't think there's any argument that can be made. What's good? FAWK, what's good, my man? With the most wicked name in all of the community. Benny DeMarble. Jonathan, yep, dude is a sheep. He let the media reel him into believing CC's the best player in W. I mean, it's cool. I just don't see it. She's good, but I see a rookie man that has an elite skill set in passing right now, and in free throw shooting, but has things to work on. You know, and I hate having to call it out, but these extremists they make you call it out because they act like they don't see what you. They act like they don't see it. Like they act like it's like when they see Caden Clark, it's like I think they think they see a Rike or somebody like that. That's what I think they think they're seeing. It blows my mind. I record every game just to make sure what the defense is doing versus CC. It's disgusting what the defense get away with versus her. You think CC is crying? All right, I'm gonna stop putting your comments up here because you tripping. Okay, you tripping. All right, Evan Carter got sick. Then Angel was hurt. Better to get the lottery pick. Playoffs next year. Uh, yes, will end up happening. Liberty worried about an SQ. They need her to go all the way. First round, Sun, Lynx, Liberty. Yeah, I can see that. And Daisy Henry, if I'm Caitlin, I stop using that forearm on Carrington just to get to the basket because she keeps hitting these things like that. She might lose it in F. MDM. The Fever have the advantage of playing without any pressure since they have already reached their season goal of becoming a 500 team and reaching the playoffs. All the pressure is on the Sun to win. Yeah, that's kind of true. And Benjamin Smith, Liberty are actually my pick to go all the way because of Anescu. Yeah, of course, you're Anescu. Yours, Jared Thomas is definitely Sabrina Anescu's #1 fan. Let's just make that clear. There's no doubt about it. Sporting Page, my man. Keep up the good work. I'm seeing what you've been doing. Good stuff, bro. Jared Thomas and Anescu look rough the past 3 games, but hope she's all right. Kai Sinnett, fan. Kai is that big where he got fans naming they join after him. Oh my goodness! Until one of these teams can prove they can beat the Aces in the playoff series, and I'm going with my Aces. Yep, I feel you. Funny. Too much Clark talk. WNBA playoffs. Too much Clark. I'm leaving. Fever in playoffs is frosting the cake. They win one game at most, in my opinion. Well, you can't talk WNBA without talking Caitlin Clark. You know that. It's impossible. At what point are they going to blame her for a lack of defense? No, they probably think she does play good defense. That's just they see things different than others. Court vision, three ball threat and passing will cause teams to double her. They want the ball out of her hands for others to make decisions. Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree. All right, so let me see. Like for someone as a turnover, like I don't want to keep talking crazy about it, but like the person leading turnovers, you kind of want them to make decisions. But I get it that one time there was a coach that said that we want to get the ball out of our hand, right? So that others make. I know the coach said that before, but do you always take what coaches say? But who knows? Let me see. Carrington was getting frustrated last game because all the push-offs and how she felt like she wasn't getting a fair whistle down the stretch. Yep, that's what you're going to deal with, man. That's what you're going to deal with. Yep, that is a fact. She hasn't been turning the ball over near as much lately. Most of those, she hasn't been turning the ball nearly as much lately. I don't know. Every time I look, it's about 5, 6. I don't know. What is she not doing? 10? Except for me, still averages 5.6, somewhere around there, right? Let's see. Nah, I didn't realize I was like one Caitlin Clark. The Fever can definitely take Connecticut. The Fever is a better scoring team. Yes, they're a better scoring team. That's true. I'm sure that is a typo there, sir, right? Okay, all right. Oh, man. Brother Gay, you're right, because the player they need to worry about is Mitchell. Can you do video what Sky should do in the draft? Oh, yeah, all of that is coming up. Right now, what's happening with the Sky, with most of the content creators right now, they're talking about the exit interviews that Izzy Harrison had with, Dana Evans and all of that. And just not my kind of thing, man. I don't know who's jealous of who. I don't know who doesn't like who. I don't know how to. I can't read minds. I can't read facial expressions to tell who likes Andrew Reese, who doesn't. I'm not the guy you come to for that. I kind of talk stuff that's known. What's happening on the floor and all of that kind of stuff. Though I appreciate that type of content. It's just, you know, that's pretty much what's out there right now. But when we start getting into, the playoffs and closer to the draft and when I get a chance to start watching some college basketball, I cannot wait to see Paige. I cannot wait to see Juju. I cannot wait to see this Olivia. Everyone's talking about. I can't wait, man, to watch it because this way. Because last year I didn't watch. Besides some LSU, 'cause I like Flage and Angel. I didn't really watch a lot of the regular season women's college basketball last year. I kind of tuned in once the March Madness started. Um, so this year it'll be different. I'll be tuning in from the beginning, you know, to see what they look like. Once we get that going, then I'm gonna definitely talk more, put out more content about Chicago and what I think they should do. But I know they need to get a point guard, but I'm not ready to tell you which one yet. I want to watch some of these young ladies play. Um, you know, but what I don't even know what pick we have yet. I haven't really spent a lot of time looking into it, but once we do, we'll be putting out videos about that for sure. That will be a topic. You know, I'm ready to change that constant fan. Hey man, do your thing, bro. You know, many people's upset pick is the Fever. Of course, yeah, that's no surprise. Fever probably have the most fans now. I feel like either CC will go off in the series and or that the Sun are god awful offensive. CC go off in the series. Yeah, okay. K. Martin reveals how Caitlin Clark has helped turn Lexi Hall into a WNBA star. Mick talks hoops. Yeah, I don't watch Mick talks hoops. He puts out too much bogus bullshit for me. Let me see. CC also got Kelsey Mitchell open shots, and she got most points and best percentage of her 7-year career. I saw what Teaspoon said. I just mentioned that, right? But you know, when you're facing a player, what you're going to do is like be respectful. So she might mean that, but Chicago doesn't blitz her really. So I don't even Chicago doesn't blitz Caitlin. So I don't even see why that would even be like a point for her. Let me see. Remember, I said that my friend crushes on CC. He said that CC could average 30 versus the Sun. If CC averaged 30 versus the Sun, y'all gonna see me just I will change and be like, oh my goodness, I was wrong about her. I was wrong about her. But I'm gonna tell you why she won't average 30 against the Sun. Well, I'll put it this way: how she could. Number one, she got to make 3 pointers with people in her face. Got to make contested 3 pointers, and then she has to get to the free throw line at least 10 times to do that. You know, that's the only way she could do it. But just lighting you up all over the place, she doesn't score from enough places on the floor to do that. To average 30 against a team like the Sun, she could do it against if they were playing the Wings. Absolutely. If they were playing the Mystics, unless they got Ariel Atkins on her, she could. You know. You're probably right, Benjamin. You are probably right. When you get frustrated and yell at refs, AB is going to be in foul trouble. Think so? I think Boston does get in foul trouble sometimes because she really is kind of responsible for all the damn, interior defense. Um, she does get in foul trouble a little bit, and they'll call them on her. They're not gonna call them on some of the others. But I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if your prediction came true. I think Lexi's tightened up, not going to be hitting all those threes. Yeah, she's not going to because they're not going to be there. She's Lexi Hull will now be on the scouting report. A lot of her great 3-point shooting came as a result of not being on the scouting report. But right now, the playoffs is a completely different monster. Teams focus on every player. They know all their strengths. They know all their weaknesses. They know it's just different. Yeah. All right, y'all. Man, this was good, man. I thank all y'all for coming through. But man, it is like what are we at? 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock right now. 11:18 Eastern Standard Time. Uh, Thank y'all for coming through as always. Y'all don't come through, I'll be up here talking to myself, looking like a damn fool. So appreciate all of that. Uh, but I got some food in that oven right there that is smelling glorious right now, and it requires my attention. I have to get to that. That has to happen. So we're gonna go do that tomorrow. Going to be going live. Philadelphia Eagles, of course. I don't know what's up with y'all. I don't know if y'all don't like football or something. I don't know what it is. Y'all don't come to the football, so I might have to build that up. Get my Eagles people in here, but we're gonna be discussing all the teams around the league. Yeah, definitely. We got to go live tomorrow night because all those games would have been played. All those W games would have been played. So we're gonna go live. Uh, Eagles probably ain't gonna rebound to next week. I don't know how. I don't know how we're gonna beat the Saints, honestly. But you know, I think I think we. Hey, what's up, bro? You just getting in here, man? But that's what's up, though. Anytime you come through, man, we appreciate that. I just gave my predictions, man. Most of my predictions are pretty much on point with yours, other than the Sun. Fever ain't beating no Sun, bro. They ain't doing that, man. The refs can only help us so much. You know what I mean? Fever gotta do what they can and keep it close. I got the Sun crushing their ass. Well, finally off work. Yeah. You working man like me. I feel you. I feel you, man. I'm in the same boat, bro. That's why I can't kick out as much as I want. It's the damn 9 to 5, you know. But pretty much, man, we pretty much online with most of our predictions except for the Fever. And oh man, it's wild, man. But let me go ahead, man. Oh man. Let me go ahead. You gonna have me dying in here, bro. So we been going for over an hour now. I'm about to go ahead and get to this food, man. So like I said, thank everybody for coming out. Peace till tomorrow. We're gonna go live and talk about what happened in those games. So peace out.